Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10, good morning, how are you? I hope you're well. This morning we've had a very icy start to the day, followed by beautiful bright sunshine, clear skies. Just don't know what you're going to get, do you? It does feel like, at least February is a short month, isn't it? Still winter, but it's a short month, and then we've got March, April showers, yeah, more rain. But it's getting better, it's getting warmer, and the market's getting busier. But some interesting news today. You know, it always seems that with the news, there's always a headline one way or another, isn't it? And sometimes they're just so conflicting. It must be very confusing. The first one I've got for you is in Estate Agent today, and it says the latest figures from the Halifax show house price growth in January was unchanged month on month following monthly decreases. And they say that the rate of house price growth last month slowed to 1.9%, the weakest in 3 years, but nonetheless growth. And then you go on to the next headline, that's in Estate Agents Today and the Eye. And then the Daily Telegraph says new analysis suggests house prices are falling exactly the same rates they did during the financial crisis. And it's saying that there's been a 5.7% drop. And that roughly echoes with what we've seen for certain property types and styles, depending on what kind of property you've got. Certain properties are more popular than others in today's market, as we've spoken about many times before. It says that then it went on to fall by a large amount in 2008. Well, yeah, they did. But let's be honest, there was a very, very different market to today. There were different circumstances. People had larger mortgages relative to their equity, and they hadn't been stress tested and therefore couldn't cope with the payments. And employment wasn't as strong as it was now. And when you put all those things together, I think we're in for a much more resilient year than people expect. And we're not going to see house prices falling off a cliff. HSBC, and pertaining to the good news side of things as well, is launching a 5-year fixed rate mortgage for borrowers with a 40% deposit to 3.99%. This is interesting. Now, it's not financial advice, but what's interesting about this is HSBC are launching a 5-year rate which is below the current base rate. And that's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of people think that mortgage rates are intrinsically linked to the base rate, and there is a link, but not as strong as you might think. The most important rates are what we call the swap rates, and they're the price at which other banks borrow money, and it's not necessarily the base rate. And this is interesting. It's available to people that are remortgaging, not first-time buyers, but it's the first time that there's been a rate offered below 4%, and that is really interesting news. It should be interesting to see if others follow suit as well. But as far as the rates are concerned, that's certainly really intriguing to see that there's a rate out there which is below base rates and it's fixed, and encouraging for the market as well. What else have we got? Almost 52,000 properties in the UK, the owners are unknown. And this is about this creation of a register of overseas owners. And the problem seems to be that people create offshore companies, and then they create other companies that own the offshore companies, and they create this kind of opaque window that nobody can actually see through and work out who the actual owners are. And many of them are owned by kleptocrats and Russian diplomats and the like. And it's about time we've got a handle on that. I really do think we should do more to handle that. Some more good news for you. Danny Blanchflower, the former Bank of England rate setter, suggests the fall in house price will force down interest rates. He said he believes the central bank should have cut interest rates in last week's meeting instead of backing the 10th consecutive increase, and says that the worst effects of the rate rises haven't been felt yet, he adds. But it's interesting to see that he thinks that interest rates will be forced down. I don't expect them to come down anytime soon or quickly, but I do think that there is a case for them reducing in the medium term. As far as the market's concerned, what we're seeing at the moment is still an undersupply, a lack of new instructions coming to market. So those that are looking are finding there's really not that much available. And what is available, therefore, is getting reasonably strong levels of interest, provided, and this is the key thing, it's priced correctly. We're getting a lot of calls now from people that signed up with agents on promises of vast prices with long agency agreements that are now calling and asking our advice on how they get out of those agreements, so they might change agencies and get to an agency that might be a little bit more proactive in selling their home. Because the problem is, of course, if the agency you're with overprices everything they've got, then everything they've got will not sell. The negotiators sitting in the office, all they get is calls from vendors. Anything happening? As the tumbleweed runs down the road. And of course, the agents are, I'm sorry, sir, can we reduce the price? Can we reduce the price? It's a negative environment. If they price correctly in the first place, they'd be getting the action, they'd be getting bodies through the door, and therefore they'd be selling houses. They have confidence. So when buyers call and say, is the market busy? That confidence comes across to buyers, and those buyers are much more likely to offer higher if they feel that you have confidence. People get confidence from other people's confidence, you know. So it's important to be dealing with a firm that can protect your interests and have confidence in the current market. And that's us. If you're here in SW16 and think of selling, or indeed if you're with another agent, just not happy with the service you're getting, as always, we're always happy to hear from you. Give us a shout and we will help you. So that's it for today, and hope you're well. Have a fantastic day. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Until then, look after yourselves, and if you can, your family and friends. Ciao.
This guy's estate agent. He looks like he owns Croydon. Just walk into what used to be the Banzag. Oh my gosh.
Different from the last time we visited. They've made the best job of a really tight space and turned it into a decent one-bedroom flat that's ready to go. This property would sell for in the region of 275.
Man like Arthur from Batman.
Because he thought it was good sport, because